Check, check, check. All right. I think we're there and it looks like we are live. So good morning or good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are in the world. And thank you for joining me this fine, wonderful Saturday morning here on the West Coast, which is where we're at right now. But looking forward to diving in and having a chat. We got Architectural Sheet Metal. Good to see you again. I'm going to see if I can get all these comments here right in the middle there. So good to see you. Thanks for joining in. I'm glad you could make it. Looking forward to seeing some other friendly, familiar faces here as well, and really diving into some good questions. Been getting a lot of awesome questions over the last week through the comments, many of which I was hoping to address here today in order to get a little more context and provide a little more nuance and details on what all of those look like. So first things first, I had all these fancy, ambitious plans of sharing in my iPad. I had it all linked up. Everything was good. I had all these drawings. It was going to be amazing. And then, of course, technology, right? So we're going to go with things through interpretive dance or some hand signals. We're going to get you to use your imagination here for a second. Because I was kind of noodling on a couple different thoughts this morning about business and marketing. Basically, it's like every day of my life. These are the thoughts that keep me awake at night. And I was trying to figure out what is the system? What is an easy way to sort of explain the process that I think you should go through in order to get like really good results, whether you're launching a new offer or starting a new business or whatever that looks like. And essentially what it is it's a collection of theories and strategies and tactics and tips and all of the things that I've been talking about for over a decade, but really putting them into some kind of logical sequential order, like start here, end up here, circle back there. We'll figure this out. So here's what we're going to do. First of all, I'm going to riff on this. We're going to multitask as I plug the iPad back in with the high hopes of actually making this work. And I was hoping like a reboot would get it to go because I think it'll go a little bit better with visuals, but if not, I'll put them on the channel later and we can talk about them another time. So here's the deal. When it comes to marketing, you've got to start with the very top, right? And this is what the whole marketing master plan is about, figuring out the model that you're offering, the market, the message, the media, the machine. We'll go through all that in just a second. But that's step one. So if you haven't got the master plan yet, I've got a free cheat sheet you can get at adamerhart.com/cheat sheet. That'll give you the full picture of everything that I'm about to cover here. But essentially, you need to make sure that you've got the right business model at the right price points and all of that. You're serving the right market, being you've identified the ideal customers. You're speaking to them in a way that is interesting and relevant, which is all about the message. You're meeting them where they are, which is about the media. You're designing the right kind of funnel, which is where the machine comes in, and you can put all of those pieces to place, and you're basically ahead of like 90% of the people in the game. But you can take that a step further by focusing in on your craft and really becoming the best at what you do. I mean, this is sort of an underrated, not often talked about thing, especially in marketing. We talk a lot about like hypey stuff and promotion and how to run ads and hack the algorithm and things like that. The reality is at the end of the day, it's going to be kind of the best products and the best services. Yes, you're going to have to back that up with the best marketing, but you've got to be good at what you do. There's a book called So Good They Can't Ignore You by Cal Newport. Awesome book, worth checking out. And then once that's done, you've got to make sure that you're doing a sufficient amount of this marketing. And this is where looking at like minimum effective dose. So if you've made like one video and haven't gotten traction yet, that's probably the reason. If you're making one post a week and it's not picking up for you, it's probably the reason. So we just need more. And then from there, we have to really dial in and identify what are those top activities that are getting the best results. We 80-20 our marketing. We figure out the top 20% of things we're doing that are getting 80% of the results. And we sort of just wash, rinse, repeat the whole cycle, going back through the marketing master plan, focusing on becoming a craftsman, a master at your thing, then moving on and making sure you're doing a sufficient amount of that. And on it goes. So technology has failed us, so that shall do. And we'll dive right into some questions here because we've got some good ones popping up already. I'm going to try to hit them chronologically as best as possible, and we'll go right up until 8:30. So we're here for an hour, and we'll blast through them. All right, some familiar faces already. Adam, how long will it take me to learn marketing, open a social media marketing agency, and reach $10K? All right, so if you're starting from like bare bones scratch, it's tough to give a hard number on this one because it's going to depend on your previous experience and your commitment to it, and I don't know, basically your market that you're in and what kind of clients that you're going after. If you're starting like right from the beginning, like we're looking at a a decent but not crazy amount of time, right? Like if you think about 10K a month as, I wonder if I can mute and cough here. One sec. Dry here this morning. If you're thinking about 10K a month, right, is like that's significantly more than like the average person's salary. Like we should be kind of realistic about what it can take. That said, I think it's totally doable within a few months. That might be overpromising a little bit, but I've done it. I've seen other people do it. Now, if I had to start a new marketing agency, we'd be at 10K a month in like a day, really less, because of all the experience and all of the knowledge and all of the things that have been accumulated. So for you, the fastest way to get there is going to be to select one niche and one offer and then double down there. So if you're going to start like quote unquote a marketing agency, you're going to have to pick for the things that are going to give you the highest ROI, that are going to give you the best results for the most amount of people, and also decent margins. Also something that you may be able to outsource. I'm obviously a strong proponent of learning marketing and making sure you know what you're doing, but you can get other people to help you, and then you can become, they call it drop servicing, where essentially you acquire the clients and then you get someone else to deliver it. What they don't tell you about that is that like client acquisition, getting customers, that's the hardest part of the whole thing. Delivering the service is relatively simple. It's getting people to trust you with their business and with their money. So I don't know, maybe SEO would be a decent one to start because you can find other people that will help with SEO, especially if you focus on local. You can get 10 local clients, 1K a month, and you'll hit 10K very quickly. All right. Next up, Adderley. Hi. Amanda. Hey, Adam, good vibes indeed. Right back at you there. All right, Chris, let's see what you got. Hey, Adam, I'm starting a small marketing firm. I just finished your course, found it immensely valuable. Excellent. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Do you or can you recommend a mentor program to continue to help me along the journey? Okay, yeah, excellent question. So as you know, right, it's like the course is structured as a course, not a coaching program, not a mentorship, anything like that. I did that for a number of reasons. The first of which was to focus on making sure the content was as good as possible. I'm still toying around with offering like a coaching program or a mentorship program, some kind of monthly thing back in the business. I haven't committed to it yet. So I'm not there yet where that's going to be a thing. But stay tuned. Now, that said, as far as other programs go, this is one where I don't have any off the top of my head that are going to be like, yeah, you definitely have to go with this program and that program. My suggestion is to find one that's niche specific to what you want to do. So whatever the market or industry or niche or segment of the market you're in, there are probably programs in that space that are going to be tailored specifically to you, that you may want to get into, and you can see what other people are doing. There's search for Facebook groups, look for Reddit groups, etc., etc. Also, I want to challenge you with a certain mindset, because a lot of people will join different marketing programs, mentorships. They'll get different coaches, and they'll be frustrated along the way because they're like, that didn't teach me everything that I want to know, and now I want this. You have to look at each of these things as like a building block in your career and in your progression. So it's like when you go through school, you go through kindergarten, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4. It's not like you look back on your grade 3 teacher and you're like, wow, they didn't teach me advanced calculus and wasted my time. It's like, no, that was an important piece of the puzzle. Like you needed that before you were ready for this, before you're ready for that. So each piece is going to build and add to it. This is the reason I still take courses. I still am part of mentorships and still work with consultants and hire agencies. Like I do this all the time. And this is my whole life, and I still learn all the time. Because even if I can get one thing, I can leverage that. And then, of course, I can pass it along to you. So yeah, do a bit of looking into it. And if I think of any, I'll try to let you know. But it's tough to give a specific, especially because they change a lot. All right, Andrea, what's the best way to learn Facebook ads or Google ads as a... Oh, I didn't realize I could resize the question. That's fantastic. Look at this power. The best way to learn Facebook ads or Google ads as a beginner, and which gives better results. Okay, so those are two questions. Let's look at the first one first. Which gives better? Let's look at the second one first. What gives better results? Facebook ads or Google ads? Market dependent. So if you have a business that relies on search traffic, i.e. roofers, plumbers, HVAC, solar companies, anything local, chiropractors, dentists, Google ads will significantly, normally, all things equal, outperform Facebook ads. This is because someone's actively searching for it. You're able to put your thing directly in front of them, and then they can go. On the other hand, if you have like a discovery type of thing, you're selling a product or a supplement, you're selling similar services, but maybe not something that someone needs like immediately right now, then Facebook ads will often work a little bit better. Not to mention, in regards to which one is more scalable, Facebook ads are probably more scalable. The reason is that you can't force somebody to go to a search engine and look something up. Like, that ain't happening. But you can control putting your message in front of more people in order to elicit a greater feedback with a really strong, irresistible offer. So, which one's easier to learn? Now, probably Facebook ads. My focus would be on probably local business Facebook ads, Facebook lead ads, click to call ads, ads that click to message. Like, those are powerful and very simple to set up. Also, I'll drop a link. I feel like I drop this one all the time, but it's if you're going to be doing this as an agency or for yourself or anything like that, this is the software that you want to use. It's the one that I use in my agencies. I've used it with all my agencies since it came out. Easily my favorite one. So check that one out, and I'll make sure the chat replay is available for anybody watching after the fact. All right, where are we? I got to scroll way back up. They're coming in hot here. Doodle-doo. Audio seems quiet. Ooh, can you hear me now? Is that any better? Maybe I'll turn it up. Warning to everybody. It's about to get a little bit louder. Step away from the speakers. We're going to try that. Hopefully that's a little more clear. Thank you for letting me know. Excited. Likewise. Always excited. Talk marketing. Jesneet, can you tell exactly how to verify Facebook and Instagram company page? Have tried this a number of times but failed. Please help. Terms of service. There's no secret thing here. Literally what they tell you to do is what you have to do. And if it's not working, then you just haven't reached the thing that they want you to reach or supplied the right kind of information. That's really it. It's like all of these things, whether we're trying to get like a page properly verified or we're trying to get the little blue check mark beside our thing. All you have to do is like look up. They make it very clear like what is allowed and what's not allowed. And then they also have a backlog of like millions of other businesses that are trying to do this as well. So keep trying. Patience. The marketer who knows their market best wins. Exactly. It's not who, it's when you make your customers feel understood and cared and heard and listened and all of that. Ubani, hey Adam, hope you're doing well. I am, thank you. Hope you're doing well. I'd like to ask, if you're stuck in getting to know where your target audience are, what things would you suggest to think about? Well, good question. It depends on if this is a brand new business or an existing business. If it's an existing business, you have to just ask them. It's really that straightforward. There's a lot of people that don't want to seem to hop on the phone or send an email or ask questions or engage in this kind of dialogue and communication, but it's powerful, like really powerful. For example, all of the questions that you're asking now, unselfishly, I'm able to help you hopefully as much as I possibly can. Selfishly, I get to see exactly, well, what do you need help with? What kind of information do you need? What are the questions that you have? Because then I can adjust my content strategy and all of the things that I'm creating to better serve you. So it's like the ultimate win-win, but you got to have these conversations. Now, if it's a brand new market, you've never served them before, you're not even sure who they are, good old-fashioned market research, like just a little bit of manual finger labor, going into Google, typing in the business that you offer, looking at the messages that your competitors are offering. They'll often call out their avatars directly. You can look at that. Looking at different groups, looking at books that are written on the subject. Like literally, if you spent 3-4 hours just Googling stuff and writing notes about like, who are these people and where do they do and what, like you're going to start to see. It's like this switch that happens in your brain. And I don't know what there's a movie quote in here somewhere, but it's like, once you see, you can't unsee what happens. Like once you understand how to find out and to like read between the lines of who a market is and the words that they use, like you're going to be able to apply this to everything. So that was kind of a vague answer. The specific one is Google, honestly. Like, let me know what kind of business it is and I'll be able to give you some more specifics in a bit. True, 24 FPS. Good to see you again. Our film reference. Hey, from Jersey again. I've ordered the book you recommend, Purple Cow. Looking forward to absorb all that knowledge, both from the book and this live. Hey, awesome. Excellent. First of all, good to see you again. Second of all, yeah, that book's sweet. I don't know. I like it. All of Seth Godin's stuff is pretty powerful. I've got this like monster of a book behind me. I wonder if you can see it. It's like this giant red behemoth. There it is right there. I love that thing. And it's just loaded with like all of his different blog posts, but I've read most of his other books, from Linchpin to The Dip to This Is Marketing to, there's a lot of good stuff out there. So yeah, dive deep into Seth's world. You will not be disappointed, especially if you're looking for like a better way to do marketing that's more based on principles and ethics and value. Nicola, good to see you again. We've got a lot of familiar faces. This is fantastic. And some new ones as well. Very cool. As someone who is new to marketing, what do you suggest to do in order to expand my knowledge to get as much experience as possible besides watching your awesome channel? Oh, you're too kind. Yeah, obviously that's going to be my first recommendation. Again, kind of both selfishly, because then you get to see more of this and I get to share what I think is the most important. But also because I've really done my best to make sure that the videos are as specific and relevant as possible. So yes, we're trying here. Now, aside from that, books are a really, really powerful tool. So videos are really good. They're probably more current and more relevant because they're produced on a regular basis. We're able to find out like, this is changing with Instagram. Don't do this instead. Look at YouTube, look at whatever. But books for the foundational concepts, like nothing's really going to come close. And the reason that is because when you write a book, it's like all of the time and the energy and the effort and the money that goes into it. I mean, they got to make sure that it's pretty decent because it's got to stand the test of time. So typically you'll find stuff that's a little more evergreen, which means it's going to be just as relevant in a week and in a month and in a year than it was when it was first written. Many of the old tried and tested books, the ones that have been around for 50 plus years, those are solid, right? Like there's nuggets in there that are incredible. On that note, this is a bit of a teaser, but I've got a video, I think it's coming out on Monday, if all goes well, or Tuesday at the latest, but probably Monday, on top 5 marketing books that I think you should read. So I'm going to leave you with that cliffhanger and then tune back in on Monday for more. All right, Mike. Good morning. Good morning. What is the best way to use social media to target in B2B? Okay, awesome. So the best way to target B2B is to be specific about who your B2B customer is and then what platforms that they are most active and engaged on. So each different social media platform, channel, network has its own demographic, target profile, as well as theme and attitude and style and content preference and algorithm. And like everyone's different. They're all kind of the same, but they're also all kind of different. So you've got to figure out who is the decision maker in the B2B business that I'm trying to target. So one thing that a lot of people get confused about when we're talking B2B or B2C is that they misconstrue selling to a business and selling to a consumer, when the reality is like on the other end of the business, it's a consumer, it's a person, it's a human. So we got to find out who that human is. Who's the one making the decision? How do I get to them? Is there a gatekeeper in front of them? For example, it's aside from this, I'm here now, but like it's kind of hard to get a hold of me, right? Like you can't call me. I don't even know if my phone works half the time. It's normally off. My email's so overloaded, like it goes through assistants and ops managers and things like that. So you got to find out who those people are and like what can you say to them to get through to the decision makers. The other thing is you've got to find out what kind of content the decision makers are looking for, because I don't have the statistic off the top of my head, but if you Google it, you'll find it. But it's like the top C-level executives and companies watch, 4 hours of online video a week. And they're typically watching like YouTube tutorials or LinkedIn things or whatever it is. So you've got to find out what kind of content they're watching and create it for them. So hopefully that helps. And then as far as channels go, it's going to depend on the age. Like LinkedIn's still powerful. YouTube is the most powerful. It's becoming more and more powerful by the day, frighteningly so. My advice for pretty much everyone now is to start and grow a YouTube channel. We can talk more about that later. But that is where the money lies. All right, Freedom Lawyer. How do you get in front of people on Facebook for problem-based services, i.e. arrested for ticket, not routine, pool needs cleaning? Yeah, exactly. Well, the problem, a bit of both, right? It's like, if you've got a market that seems to get in trouble a lot or like has a lot of the similar legal problems, I'd be targeting them or trying to offer them legal advice. So I'd probably go like super high top of funnel with like, hey, here's how to get out of a speeding ticket, or here's how to do this thing, or were you wrongly charged, or whatever it is. Like I'd have top of funnel content that way. But as far as like, I have a need, I'm going to fulfill it. Like no one goes to Facebook for that. So it's not like I'm like, oh man, I got to do some shopping or buy something. I'm going to log into Facebook and do that. So it's probably just the wrong platform for that style of approach. That is where Google ads and Microsoft ads, formerly known as Bing ads and other search engine type stuff is going to come in more handy than Facebook. Actually, then most social media platforms. Like you really have to go search. Okay. Ubani, I would say the best marketing strategy all day long for starting podcast. What would be the best marketing strategy all day long for starting podcast? Okay, so what's the best marketing strategy for starting a podcast? I think that's what you mean. If so, I'm going to answer that one. The best marketing strategy for starting a podcast is there's going to be two things. Number one is start the podcast. Because if you want to attract influencers, authorities, leaders in your space, you need a number of podcast episodes behind you before they're going to even give you the time of day. So it's not like you're not going to be able to attract heavy hitters and be like, I'm starting a new podcast. Because they'll be like, yes, you and everybody else. So they're not going to want to take a chance with wasting their time. So you're going to need like a lot of episodes. Think 50 to 100. So just get recording fast as you can. The second thing is going to be beneficial. In fact, mandatory to have an audience on another platform as well. Podcast search and discovery is not great. It's like they claim there's some SEO. There might be, not really. So that's not great. But a video-based podcast and then putting it on YouTube is going to be the best plan. So if you can find a way to make it a video podcast, yeah, that's going to be the secret. Diego, what do I think of a funnel agency? What do I think about the merits of starting one? In which case, if you're really good at making funnels and you're able to be specific about the niche that you want to serve and you have a proven process and proven system behind it and you're able to replicate and duplicate and scale and automate it all, then yeah, I'm all for it. Again, take a look at that. I'm going to drop it in the chat just because this software. I would use this software as the basis for my funnel agency because you could create they actually already have them kind of baked in for different verticals and different niches, but you could take your top performing funnels and then you could literally just like copy and paste them over into different clients as you get them. So that's going to be probably the quickest way and most effective way to do it. But yeah, I think it's good. As long as you have a value prop, people need funnels. You're going to have to go after the people that know what a funnel is though. So we're looking at a slightly different, more educated demo. Okay. Lots of stuff coming in. Where do I go? We're going to have to go through quicker. They're coming in good. Let's see if I can we'll get some new questions here. I'm a motion designer, make ads for businesses, having trouble pitching to business directly. All of them want me to do work as in-house designer, but I just want to sell my work. Who should I target? Same people. If they want you to work as an in-house designer, it's because they think you're really good. So you have to show them the merits, the benefits of why it would be better for you to work as a freelance designer, or the fact that you just tell them I'm not available. For example, I get offered all the time for jobs. People are like, hey, Adam, come do my marketing. Come be this CMO. Come take over this company. Come do the marketing here. And I just have to tell them, I say, thank you so much. I'm honored that you would think of me, but I'm not interested. That's not what I'm doing. So that's it. Suzanne, good to see ya. I'm in attraction marketing and advertise on YouTube. Do you see the style of video ads changing? Should I be adding music and fluff or is it okay to just have me speaking? So it depends what you mean by fluff. If you mean fluff, like useless stuff, then no, don't add fluff. But if you mean like spice, snazzle, sparkle, then yeah, totally add it. But again, keep in mind like who your market is and who that demographic is. So we tested on this channel here, like some really fast paced stuff, and it didn't hit. It just didn't do as well as more of me talking. That said, what we did find is that when I have better examples, when I spend more time on the script, when I've got more visuals, when we do add sound, but not a ridiculous amount, when there's a subtle background music, like all of those positively impacted retention. So you've got to take a look. But yeah, you like without knowing or having seen your channel, it's like if we can upgrade, say, the lighting and we can upgrade the audio, like those are going to be really good. And if those are already dialed in, then yeah, start looking at other ways of increasing retention. Start looking at your graphs and like where people start dropping off and seeing what you can do to fix that. Oh, that's me. I don't have a question. I just have a quote. I'm just clicking through here. Adam, I ran an FB ad in July, Facebook ad in July, but still haven't closed any of the leads. I got 25 leads for $6. Is it the budget? I love this question because it's impossible to answer, right? The fact is it could be the budget, but unlikely. It's likely the offer that you're making followed by the targeting that you're doing in the audience, followed by the style and structure of the ad, followed by the image. There's so many things that go into an ad that it's impossible for me to be like, $6. Yeah, that's the problem. Make it 20. It's like you've got to kind of go back from scratch and like look at the entire campaign and make sure you're targeting the right people in the right way with the right offer, with the right message. Again, this is where the marketing master plan comes in. If you download that cheat sheet for free, adamerhart.com/cheat sheet, that'll help make sure you're doing the things in the right order. But yeah, 25 leads for $6. If it's $6 a pop, maybe something went a bit off if you're running like lead ads, but if you're running like call ads or you're running webinar registration ads, that's actually a really good price. Okay, let's see how to do much better. Perfect. We got our audio fixed. Chris, oh, super sticker. Pair character about here, too kind. Thank you. So as usual, I forgot to mention this. Any money that we make today gets donated to a local charity that helps to feed kids before they go to school. A lot of families around the area can't afford to essentially make sure their kids have breakfast before going to school or lunch. And they rely on these food programs. So we take all of the money and we put it straight there. Andrea, do I have a social media marketing agency? If you have, what's its name and what niche you work on and what you offer? So the answer is yes, I do technically still have one, still runs. I don't want to give the name because we're not looking for new clients and it sort of runs on the back end. As far as services, primarily this one's focused now on SEO, Facebook ads, content, and social. And email marketing. So it's a bit of a mix. It's been over a decade of doing it, but I've had agencies in all kinds of different niches for it. Hayden, hey sir, I'm a third-year student at university. Now I do media for a small company about education for entrepreneurs. Can you give me some advice to make content more creative? Yeah, lots of stuff. So much you can do. Education for entrepreneurs. First of all, I'd be following other like entrepreneur education channels. I mean, that sounds kind of obvious, but like my stuff and other people's stuff. And if you Google entrepreneur marketing and business and things like that, like you're going to be able to look at other people's content and start to see what you like and what you don't, as well as what is relevant and relatable to you. Like there's a lot of other, say, marketers and entrepreneurs and people that make YouTube videos that I think are phenomenal. They're super smart and they've got great content, but it's totally not my style. Like not at all. I'm not like that at all. I've got a completely different personality and attitude and lifestyle and goals and dreams and family and like everything's different. But I can still take elements of it and be like, oh, that's cool, or that transition's neat, or I like how they made the audio better there, or that's a cool clip, or whatever it is. So you can learn things from all kinds of different people to apply. But the best way to get more creative ideas is to consume more creatively. Also make sure that you're carving out time for creative ventures. They did a study I referenced in a video and I forgot the stat, but it was like Nobel Prize winning laureates, smart people doing big, important things. They were 2 to 3 times more likely to win awards when they had hobbies outside of science. So like painting and drawing and photography and music or whatever it was. So you need hobbies. I'm terrible at drawing, but I do some drawing. I'm not very good at photography. I take a lot of pictures. I'm better at music, but I still play every day, at least a little bit. So it's like all of these things add in and they give you different perspectives and different ideas and they help to sort of open your mind a little bit. That was a little bit more woo-woo, but hopefully that helps. Sean TV. Hey, good to see you. All right. Dragon Bots or Dragon Bot Southwest. Let's go with that. Thank you for doing this. Mom, my pleasure. Thanks for being here. It'd be just weird if it was just me talking all to myself. We're an automation company that programs robots and builds custom machinery. Oh, that's cool. How can we make our videos less business and more interesting? Do you have go-to strats? Yes, I do. And by strats, I assume you mean strategies. So if you're an automation company that programs robots, I don't know, you're living the dream. How could that not be interesting? That's amazing. You like show robots doing things. Hey, I programmed a robot to, I don't know, make me a smoothie or vacuum my floor. I guess we have those. If side note, if you ever had a floor cleaning vacuum robot, you will have no fear of artificial intelligence taking over our world. My thing just like rams itself into the wall. It was so bad. We finally got rid of it. But yeah, like film it, all of this stuff, show the mechanics of it, show the intricacies, show the design, show the specs, show the blueprints, show the actual operation, talk about life cases and situations, talk about use cases and testimonials. I mean, you've got, like, I don't know, it's hard to think of a business that can't do this. I make fun of accounting a lot, my poor accountant. Because like, to me, I'm mostly because I'm terrible at accounting, but it's like, that's the dry, boring stuff. And even then we can think of ideas of like jazzing up spreadsheets. There's a TikToker who does like Microsoft Excel spreadsheet videos. And I don't know, she's got like 1 million followers on different things you can do. So yeah, think outside the box. Put a camera on your robot, have them walk around, GoPro, cell phone, whatever. Okay. Jazz Neat. How to make Google and budget estimation so ad runs the whole day because our budget finishes in 3 hours. How to know what our competitors are spending per day. Okay, this one's easier. So if your budget's spending in 3 hours, there's a setting in there that allows you to sort of like space it out a little bit rather than like accelerated it. So you've probably just have it on accelerated and they're just going to blow through it as quickly as they can. To see what your competitors are spending, you want to use software like SEMrush or other kind of like ad spy software. What's the other one? I can't remember the name of the other one that I use. Way too much software apparently. But yeah, there's other things that allow you to do sort of research on your competitor to see what they're spending on ads. To me, that's not my favorite way anyway, because what they're doing is important-ish, but not completely relevant all the time. Tracy, hey, from Nebraska. Good to see ya. Getting ready for fall and winter, I assume, down there. I've only been to Nebraska once, but I spent a lot of time in Kansas back in the day. All right. Baby, hey, Adam, is it better to gradually increase the marketing or is a big bang kind of campaign better? Oh, this is a great question. This is essentially like the quintessential internet marketing question of, is it better to have an evergreen campaign or a launch campaign where you just come out guns blazing, all your eggs in one basket? A lot of it is personality dependent, like what suits you better. My preference is always gradually increase. Like almost always. And the reason is because I want to find out what works before I go to town. I don't want to go out and be like, hey, I heard this dude talk about Pinterest ads on a webinar and that sounds like that's where the future's going. So I'm putting $100,000 into Pinterest ads and this is it. Make or break, baby. That to me makes me want to like throw up a little in my mouth. What I'd rather do is maybe I'll run like $1,000 on Pinterest ads and $1,000 on Google ads and $1,000 on Facebook ads. And then I'll measure my cost per acquisition over all of the channels. And then I'll find the best one, 80-20ing, and I'll double down on, let's say it's Facebook ads. Okay, well, of these Facebook ads, which campaign is getting me the best results? Is it A, B, C, or D? Oh, it's this one. Interesting. Okay, well, now is it because of the image or the copy or the targeting or the placements or whatever it is? And I'll keep refining it down, gradually taking budget away from the other areas and moving them into my top performers to get that to grow even more. YouTube, this channel here, is probably the perfect example of this taking place. If you look at the videos now and you look at them 6 years ago, it's like there's a stark contrast. Right? It's like I could have come out. I probably couldn't have because I didn't have the experience or know what I was doing. But like, let's assume that all of a sudden I magically knew how to do this stuff. I could have put all of the time and money in back then. I could have hired the team of editors that we have. I could have hired the consultants and designers and we like the strategies. I could have dedicated most of my time now to this content and things like that. But like, what if it didn't work out? That'd be terrifying. I'd go broke in like a day. I didn't have that kind of budget back then or for this type of thing because it hadn't proven itself. So to me, marketing is an investment that needs to provide a tangible ROI, return on investment of some kind. And it's terrifying to me to just go and like drop a bucket of cash on something that I don't know is going to work. So I'm kind of the mindset of like, hey, marketing, prove it. And I'll do my part. I'll work hard. I'll make sure that we're doing smart and educated things, but like, show me that it's going to work. All right. Caleb, love your channel. I love your profile picture. How do I zoom in on this? This is amazing. That's as big as it's going to let me get. That's amazing. Good for you. What's a good tactic for finding local SEO clients? Okay, cool. So if you're dealing with local SEO clients, local SEO marketing is I talk about it a lot. It's kind of where I got my start. But it's also one of the best ways to quickly build up an agency. And you never really worry about competition too much because, at least in my experience, it's like the real diehard, nerdy, geeky marketers, the ones that like genuinely love this stuff. Like we're kind of a rare breed, which means that if you're here now watching this, like you're part of the club. And most people, all the people that aren't here watching this, they're not part of the club. So they're not going to do the things that you're going to do. They're not going to know the things that you know. They're not going to get the results that you're going to be able to get. So immediately you've separated yourself. Now, the best thing that I like to do is good old-fashioned direct outreach. I did a couple things when I was first starting. One worked really well, but it was incredibly time intensive. And what I did, this is a doozy. I don't advise you do this, but you totally could do it. I went through a company's website and search rankings, and I used software, and I did like a full analysis on a bunch of different companies that I thought I would want to do some SEO work for. And I made like a complete report and analysis. I recorded an entire video. I printed it out on a DVD back when we did these things. I made a cover for it. I put it in a label. I hard mailed it to their place. I followed up, and it worked. I can't remember my exact conversion rates, but it was high. Like 10% ended up turning into clients, maybe 20. So if I send out 2, I would get 1 or 2 clients from it. So if I send out 20, I'd get 2 or 4. I send out 80, I would get 4 to 8. And it's like, and if we're starting to price our packages at 1K, 2K, 3K, whatever it was, it's like these numbers started to add up quickly. So that's option 1. Option 2 is easier, is I would just get a screen recording capture software like Loom, Loom. Any other one will work just fine. Go do an audit of their website, get some good SEO software. I can't remember if this one works. Go to my resources page and you might find, I can't even remember what the address is. Go to the website, and I think there's a link for SEMrush there. And that'll allow you to do some decent analysis and then send them a report of that. And you'd be amazed at how many people hop over. The other thing you can do is show them like the easy opportunities on page 2 and like what you would do. Also, don't ignore Google business profile, like the local Google page. John, hello to you, and a big hello to everyone from John. Kirk, good morning. Where in your materials might one find business marketing strategies for marketing new films? Ooh, that's an interesting one. So here's what's cool. It's like often I think this is kind of like where these kind of conversations come in more useful, is that I don't have a specific video on marketing new films. Just like I get this question a decent amount, which is like, hey, how do I promote my music or my art or things like that? And I don't have specific videos on each one. And the reason is because they're more similar than they are different. So marketing, if we take a look from like top level view of the principles and the fundamentals of like identifying the target market and figuring out the message and what's my point of differentiation and what makes me unique and what's my how am I going to reach the kind of people, like that's always the same. So for marketing a new film, well, let's run through the marketing master plan. So the model is, well, we've got a new film that we need to market. I'd be curious to know, it's like, am I going for like, what's my goal with this? How am I making money? Like, am I trying to get in front of a broad audience? Am I trying to sell it to production companies, whatever it is? Like, we've got to identify that. Then we move on to market. So who are the buyers for this? Again, are we B2C, broad, trying to get into theaters, go mass? Am I trying to get into boutique film festivals like Cannes or Sundance or something like that? Then the message, what is it that they want to see that will allow them to pay attention? Do they need a testimonial from other top directors? Do they need references or referrals? Do they need a director's cut, a quick clip, like a teaser, anything like that? Then media, where am I going to reach them? Do I need to hard copy mail in a screenplay or a recording or some clips? Do I need a better social media following, whatever that is? And then my machine, how's that going to look? This is going to be less important for this kind of thing because it's more niched. But like, what's the process of taking someone and guiding them through from first hearing about like, hey, Kirk's got this new film, we should go check it out, all the way through to be like, let me give Kirk all my money to buy his film. So we've got to figure out like what that sequence of events looks like. And again, that's kind of the same for music, for art, for most businesses. All right, cool. Good to see you. How to deal with overwhelming, and how do you specifically keep everything aligned and accessible, like information, tactics, templates in a folder, or, yes. Okay, so this is kind of on like productivity and production and organization of content and material. So no secret that I consume a lot of content, videos, books, stuff like that. I have a collection of different ways that I do it. One thing that I learned, which was pretty powerful, was this is a while ago, Tiago Forte Awesome name for the record. But Tiago Forte has a course called Building a Second Brain. Building a Second Brain, BASB. Phenomenal course. And it teaches this para architecture of structuring, of like putting things into projects and archives and resources and what's the other one? Assets, I think. That said, as good as it was, the real benefit for me was figuring out how to structure and arrange information in a way that fit me. So I went through everything and it was phenomenal. It got me using Notion, which is where I store a lot of information, but I also use hard copy notepads and journals. I use Apple Notes. I use Todoist. I use like just a whole hodgepodge of different things. So the best advice that I can offer is like really just make sure that you're recording it. And then over time, your system will develop as a result of necessity rather than trying to pre-plan it too much. That said, there's one app that I'm playing around with that I just can't seem to crack. It's called Obsidian, and it's about like linking your notes together and putting it all together. But man, I need like a Obsidian for Dummies guide, because every time I hop in there, I'm always like, freaked out, and then I just leave. Benjo, hello, new subscriber here. Good to have you along. I just got a new job because of you. Thank you so much. Hey, that's awesome to hear. That's fantastic. Congratulations on the new job. Keep me posted. Let me know how it goes. That's wicked. Amanda, how can one advertise a print-on-demand online business? Is it wise to rely on marketing tools offered by sites like Fine Art America or Etsy? Oh, this is a cool question. I'm actually working on a video on this right now. So I'm gonna leave you hanging there a little bit, but I can't leave you totally hanging. Hang on, let me give you something. First of all, definitely look into the services that they do have, because they do know a lot about like their platform and how to leverage it best. One thing that you will find is that platforms like Etsy are going to have guidelines and structures and best practices that are probably going to work well. Also, though, and probably most important, is that you do want to focus on building your own list and your own business around it, because other platforms come and go. But at the end of the day, you want to own and control as much access to your audience as possible. Okay, Sean, I'm willing to learn anything to keep my mind occupied. This along with finance. Perfect. Yes. Keep that mind busy and going. Delgado. That's another awesome profile pic. Hello, my friend. We got some good ones, making me feel I got to up mine. This is mine. Another link from mine, but like, I don't know. I feel bad now. I want those sunglasses and those ones with the fake mustache on it. Zayed. What all you need to do to get in the door with digital agency? Website, high level, business, email, LLC. Do you need an LLC when starting with high level, or could you get an LLC when profit comes in? Okay, excellent. So this is business ops question. First of all, you don't need an LLC when you first get started. You can again, hang on. I am not a lawyer, nor am I qualified or able to offer legal advice. So take all of this as what it is, entertainment purposes. That said, different legal structures are going to be different in different countries, whether in Canada or the US or the UK or whatever country you're in. So obviously check with a lawyer and accountant. The best hire that I ever did was early on in my career, and that was an accountant and a bookkeeper first, I think, then an accountant. And they were able to tell me all of the things that I did and did not need. I didn't become a quote unquote corporation until a couple years into my business. And it was more from a tax savings perspective than it was for protection or legal, whatever it was. It was simply because the business made enough money that I didn't want to take it all out and spend it all and pay taxes on it. So we left some in the corporation, and then we could invest and do whatever and grow other businesses. So look into that one. Now, to get in the door with a digital agency, I assume you mean starting one. So there's a couple things that you definitely need. The first of which is you definitely need a website, and you definitely need email, and they need to be branded as your name and not like @gmail.com. So you need like a proper one. Fortunately, you can get a domain name for like $10, and you can get a website for like $3 a month, with any basic web hosting service. So that would be a good place to start. And then high level, I love and recommend, I would get a client, or I'd probably get high level, get the free trial, because then you could play around with it. Use that to go get a client, and then use the client, which will then allow you to pay for the things that you want to run the software and other services. So yes, it is a progression. I don't think you have to go just like totally all in, and you don't need a new suit and a new computer and a new phone or anything like that. In fact, I think I still have like one of my old phones. I have too many phones. That's the other reason I can't answer them all, is phones that have been collected over the years, different numbers and that. Just use your personal one for now. All right. Precious, I skipped a couple questions, possibly by accident, possibly by design. I didn't see one from you in there, but we will check. Feel free to just sort of drop it in at the end as well, because I'm going to keep trying to go through here. But there's more questions than there is time at this point, and I'm trying to get to as many as possible. Run ads, Facebook, Instagram, comments, have leads for people, but rarely do they convert to a sale. Okay, so let's talk about this one. So you're generating leads, but they're not converting to a sale. This is because of a couple things. The first of which is that we're not generating the right kind of leads. So we're drawing people in with the wrong offer. For example, I could generate as many leads as I want simply by giving away a free car. Hey, free car, sign up here. I'm going to get all the leads in the world, but none of them are going to ever hire services or show up again for anything other than free cars. So you've got to make sure that that's in alignment. The second thing is you need to make sure that you have a conversion sequence in place to turn those leads into actual customers. You can't simply generate a lead and then ignore them for 30 days and then be like, why is nobody buying? So response time is important. Are you sending something like within a few minutes to be like, hey, welcome, this is great. Here's this thing. Here's another thing. Here's some more value. How can I help you? It's like we need that form of a follow-up. The second thing is, what's the sequence for the people that aren't buying now but will buy later? I feel like I'm dropping a lot of cliffhangers here, but I've got another video. I just scripted it out yesterday, and I think I'm going to record it next week. But it's essentially on the different groups of people, those that buy now and those that buy later, and how you have to make sure you have offers for the people that are going to buy now, but also that you don't ignore the people that are going to buy later. And this is a significantly larger portion of the market. So that is it. Okay, Russell, first of all, hey, Russell, can you tell me now how to get clients as a freelance marketer? Okay, cool. So a lot of these, I like these questions because a lot of them are similar in that, like, the way that you get clients as a freelance marketer is the same way that you get clients as a marketing agency, is the same way that you get clients as a B2B company, is the same way that you get customers as a B2C company. It's kind of all the same. And that's the bad news. So the bad news is that the principles and the fundamentals are broad and they're all encompassing, and there's a lot to them, right? It's like we need to figure out what makes us different and unique and go through all the things of the marketing master plan and all of that. Now, the good news is that once you're really clear about what you do and who you do it for and why someone would choose you and not someone else, life gets a whole lot easier. So the reason that people often struggle to get clients, to get customers is a couple things. First of all, they've failed to master the basics and the fundamentals of marketing and the stuff that's important. So we've got to do that. We've got to make sure that we're going through all the stuff I talk about in the Digital Marketing Academy. We've got to go through all of the stuff I talk about here on the channel. Like we need to master those, and we need to know them inside and out. Next, we need to get crystal clear on the activities that actually drive the business forward and the things that just waste our time. So a lot of people waste far too much time on these vanity metric style things, building followings that they have no intention of ever serving beyond building a following, or doing marketing for the sake of marketing with no intention or guideline on what's successful or what's not. So it's almost like we got to take a step back and be accountable with what we're doing and why we're doing it, and making sure that it's serving us in the right way. But the reason that clients hire you, or the reason that customers buy, is because they view the value of what they're going to receive is greater than the cost that they're going to pay you. So if you're not getting customers or clients, it's simply because there's a mismatch between they either don't know about you or they don't feel that the value you're going to deliver is believable or worth the money that they're going to have to pay you. So you've got to obviously turn the tables, and that's where marketing comes in. Okay, let's keep going. Zaid, real quick question. Do I have a video on how to use high level with digital marketing agency? I might. I think I do. Search Adam Earhart high level. You'll probably find it. I think it's pretty basic. It doesn't go into the specifics of it, but they have a ton of tutorials. Like once you sign up for a free trial and you go in there, it's loaded. And I think that's why I avoided it. Architectural sheet metal, my friend. Love these sat lives. Yeah, I'm glad we can make them happen. I got to bail in like 10 minutes, take the kids to soccer, but for now, we're here. What would be my strategy on collecting info from my target market to help target them better? Free versus paid? Thanks for all you do. So what would be strategy on collecting info from my target market to help target them better? Free versus paid? So might have to answer this one later because I'm not entirely sure what you mean for collecting info, like running paid ads to get information back or running like a survey or whatnot. My preference, if you already have a customer base, is to free stuff, right? Like send them a survey, ask them as few questions as possible to get the most amount of information. Is this important or is this important? Do you prefer this or this? Find the ones that are willing to hop on a call with you, etc. Like surveys work wonders. Talking on the phone with them works even better, and you're going to get even more information. The only time that I'll run, say, paid media in order to acquire information is when I want it like yesterday. Like I want it now. So what I'll do is I'll run a number of different paid ads to the same kind of market, and each one will have a slightly different message. And then I'll find out which one gets the highest click-through rate and the best results. And I'll be like, all right, clearly this one is resonating more with the people that I want to go for. Okay, Steven, if you have an existing business or you have existing clients that you have to serve for 40 plus hours a week, what are some good strategies to keep video release frequency up? Yeah, excellent question. So everyone's busy, right? All of us have things to do and priorities and work responsibilities and family responsibilities. How do you essentially stay on the content train? How do you keep things coming out? A couple things. First of all, you do need a system. You need a system that works for you. So what I would do is I map out of all of the steps that are involved with making a video. So you need the idea, then you need a title, then you need a script / outline of things you want to talk about, then you need to record it, then you need to edit it, then you need to publish it. So of those, say, 6 things, where is the thing that's slowing you down the most, and how can you get help with that element? So it's like we got to find the bottleneck, and then we have to remove it or minimize it. This is called theory of constraints. It's probably one of the single most important elements in scaling a business of any kind. Is we've got to find the bottleneck where things are getting jammed up, and then get rid of it. The other thing is you've got to find the times where there's like the high energy and the low energy periods. So it's like maybe you are a writing savant. You can just write scripts like nobody's business, and you can write them in the morning and at night and in the middle of the night and in a day when you get a 5-minute break. But maybe to record a video, you got to be in the zone. So you've got to schedule your day around that time. You've got to make sure that when you're at peak energy, you're doing peak work and not stuff that's just not that important. So you've got to be a lot more strategic about your time. For example, my best time by far is in the morning. I'm way more switched on. So I do scripting, recording, all of that stuff in the morning. I don't even check email. I've got a blocker on my computer. I'm not even allowed to check email. It won't even let me until like noon. So basically from the time I wake up, from too early, but 4 a.m. till like noon, I'm like full on, all right, what are the thoughts? What are the ideas? And my brain's running and everything. And then I have lunch, and then everything just we get a little more creative and a little more downhill. I'm a little more tired. So then I'll do things like, all right, let's work on the thumbnail. Let's review some things. Let's coordinate with the team. So hopefully that helps. That's going to be the same with any kind of content or marketing for any kind of business, is really building it around your time and your schedule. Okay, let me see. VSD, thank you for sharing your knowledge. Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for being here. Claude, hello from the UK. Hello, my friend. Good to see you. It's got to be, what time is it there? 3 p.m., 4 p.m., a bit later. I like this question. Let's answer this one. Sachidanand. Sachidanand. Oh, I messed up the pronunciation. Hopefully that's somewhat close. Please explain what is the cheapest ad network. Here's why I like this question, because it's the wrong question to ask, my friend. Wrong question. We don't want cheapest because, like I said before, I can get you cheap leads like nobody's business. You want cheap leads? I'll get you $1 million tomorrow. I'm going to give away a car, like I said. You don't want that. You want the best, most qualified, most interested, most relevant leads to your business. So for that, we've got to figure out, what do you sell? Model. Who do you sell to? Market. And then we can figure out where they're present and active online, and we can start to design our ads and our messages around them. We don't want cheap. We want better. Trade-off, right? John, what do I think about Apple becoming a major ads platform with them having a captive audience and cutting out third-party cookies? Yeah, I think it's super interesting. It's so funny, right? Like, this is a great question. This is phenomenal because like the writing's been on the wall forever, right? So anybody that's like, oh, how could they do that? It's like, of course they're going to do that. Why would you not do that? You have an audience and you're already having issues with third-party cookies and tracking and privacy and all that. Of course they're going to do this. We've been moving in this direction for a long period of time. It's only going to get worse or better or however you want to see. Like, things are changing. They're never going to stop changing. What's important to people continues to change in regards to privacy and tracking and how much information they give up. So it's like this is not going away. Facebook has already cracked down, right, with iOS 14, and they whatever else. Or pardon me, Apple already cracked down on Facebook with iOS 14, and that hurt a lot of people. Google has been a little slower to implement this. I think their next privacy thing comes out in like 2023, where they're going to dial some things back, or 2024. They keep kind of pushing it off a little bit. Fair to do. They're free to do what they want. So there's a couple things that I try to keep in mind here. First of which is that we are we're building our businesses on rented land. So I don't own Facebook or Google or YouTube or Apple or anything like that. They're free to do what they want. My goal as a entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a marketer, as a teacher, is to play within the rules and try to stay one step ahead. So it's like, okay, well, if that's where it's going, my question then is, all right, well, what's the percentage of Apple users? And how do I get in with Apple ads before anybody else? Because there will be a first mover advantage where they're going to try to promote these. And then how do I create better ads? And like, again, I don't know. I think it's exciting personally, but a friend of mine once, like back in the day when we were like heavy into Facebook ads, and someone asked him, they're like, hey, what happens if Facebook just goes away? And he's like, that's fine. He's like, I'll just go to the next ad platform and become the best there. And at the time I remember thinking, I was like, oh, that's kind of arrogant. And I was like, that's actually genius. I was like, he's 100% right. He was dominating Facebook ads. Now, whatever else comes out, he'll just go and apply the same concepts, the same principles, because between ad platforms, the strategies and the psychology behind it, they're all kind of the same. Like we're putting stuff in front of people to try to elicit some kind of action. The principles of direct response marketing haven't changed in like 100 years. So if you learn them and master them, you can apply them anywhere. You just have to tweak the creative and make it look like it fits. Whew, okay. VSD, I'm starting a design studio, specifically web design. I have a good website. My work is better than huge agencies. Okay, excellent. Good for you. Keep at it. Here's part 2 of the question. But I'm struggling to get clients. Would you please give me a solution to make a real business that makes money? Okay, so this is obviously a deeper question than we've got time to go into, right? Like what are the criteria for building a solid business that makes money? But it does come down to, again, what I alluded to earlier, which is like, you've got to find the clients that value what you have and are willing to pay you because they believe they're going to get more value than the cost that it has. So having a good website is important, obviously, especially if you're a web designer, but client testimonials and proof that you're able to do this for other businesses, that's going to be more important. And then a bit of a secret here is if you can show how those websites that you built for people equated to the desired result that they wanted, normally an increase in business and revenue and profit, the more you're going to be able to charge and the more desirable you're going to be. For example, if I pay someone $5,000 to build a website, that's great. But if I pay someone $5,000 and they're like, Adam, you pay us $5,000, we're going to show you how your website's going to make you $10,000 back. I'd be like, I'll take that deal all day. So it's like, that's what we have to basically change the shift around. Like your goal isn't to build a website. It's to build a business building asset for them. Okay. We have a few minutes left. Let me see if I can find some that will appeal to the most amount of people. And then we will try to do this again later. Let's see. Hey, Adam, new to your channel, just finding out about marketing. Could you put in the simplest words what marketing is? I like this one. Marketing to me is communicating value to your market, to your customers, to your clients. So it's essentially showing them that what you have may or may not be a good solution to the problems that they have. Communicating the value of what you have and why it may or may not be a good solution for them. I say may or may not be because a lot of people are like, my product, my service, my offer, it's the best. It helps everyone in all things. Whereas what I'd like to say is, hey, this may not be for you. But if you're this kind of person with this kind of problem, with this kind of thing, this is perfect for you. And here's all the people that have done it before. These are all the results that they've had. Allow me to show you and to build trust and to prove that this actually works by doing all the things that marketing is about. So hopefully that answers. Okay, let's see if we can find one more. Do I think TikTok ads are effective? Yes, I do. Easy one. If they're done right, same thing with everything. What is a good tactic for B2B clients? Answered this earlier in the video, so we can go back and rewatch that one. Thanks for doing this. My pleasure. How do I create content ideas, especially for LinkedIn, professional in nature? Let's cap it here because I think this is a perfect one, and then we're going to have to get to the rest another day. We'll try and make this a more regular thing. But this one's important because, again, it gets confused with like content for professionals versus content for unprofessionals, amateurs, other networks. It's all content, and it's always selling to people. And the principles are always the same when we're selling to these people. It's who are they? What are their problems? What are their fears, their frustrations, their pains? What are their wants and their dreams and their goals and their desires? How do we structure our content so that addresses them, so that it talks to them like they're humans, like we understand where they're coming from, like we have a possible, potential, maybe solution that would help them if they're this kind of person. That's how we create content. Now, the style and the tone and the formatting, this is all going to be different depending on the platform. Obviously for LinkedIn, we're not going to have like this super hypey, fast cut, rapid fire pace that we may do on, say, TikTok. But the content could very much be the same. It could be the same message, the same value. A lot of this really just comes down to being crystal clear on your business. Where I think a lot of people, here, we'll silence that for our final sit down takeaway point here. A lot of people end up getting in trouble and start looking at tactics and hacks and tricks like that because they've really failed to understand and taken the time to be like, well, what do I do? What is my business model? Who do I serve? What is it about? What makes me different and interesting and unique? Because when you start to figure those things out, everything else just gets so easy because it's all built on and predicated on those answers. So if you're selling something expensive, targeting an affluent market, well, now you know how you're going to come across through your brand and your messaging and your style. You're going to know their problems. Or are you selling a budget-friendly product or service? Are you selling to a beginner market? Are you like, what is it that you do? And if you're offering way too many things to way too many people, this is almost mission impossible. And I think that's where most people get confused is they're trying to do all of these things for all of these people. And they're like, I don't even know where to start. Like, I got to talk to this wealthy person and that person who's just getting started and this expert and that beginner. And you simply can't cover that many bases with your marketing and with your content. You've got to be more specific. So dial in on your model, on what you're selling, dial in on the person that you're selling, focus on one at a time, and you can slowly start to build things out from there. And then, like I said, everything just gets significantly easier. Not to mention, there are going to be offers and products and things that you sell that are going to provide significantly better returns, higher profit, more fun to deliver. And that's where you want to focus your time on. And then again, everything gets a whole lot more fun. So with that said, I got to take the kids to soccer. So thank you so much for joining me here today. It's been an absolute pleasure. I appreciate your questions. I look forward to seeing you more in the comments as we launch some more videos. And I think it should be a fun one coming up on Monday with those books if all goes well. So thank you again. We'll talk to you soon.